There was an awful lot to be concerned about during that performance against Olympiacos. Ultimately, as I've mentioned, it doesn't matter. I think we can still, and probably still will, qualify as group winners. So ultimately, the bigger picture, it ain't that important. But sometimes it's the small stuff that counts, right? And I think in the case of Mohammed Kudus, it's now the start of a problem. It can be fixed really, really quickly, by the way, very quickly, and it can be done at Everton, but it needs to be done. It needs to be done now. One of the worst parts of, I felt, the whole performance against Olympiacos was the attitude, and I think people seem downbeat. A lot of I'm talking about players. Obviously, I was downbeat, you were downbeat, but I'm talking about the players. Some of them just looked like they couldn't be bothered, as I mentioned in last night's video. But there was definitely a lethargy. It definitely looked like people had sort of had enough, that they wanted out, that they had checked out. One of them is going to be Pablo Fornals. I just thought he just looked like he couldn't be bothered. I felt sorry for him. I really did feel sorry for him. His ability had deserted him, and for the first time in a very, very long time, I thought his endeavour and effort had deserted him. He wasn't the only one, by the way. James Ward-Prowse looked totally and utterly fed up, and I thought he gave up at times during the game. Certainly Thomas Souček gave up at points during that game as well, and Said Benrahma, I mean, whatever he had looks like it's sort of deserted him at the moment. It's very, very hard to see a way back for him. But I think one thing that a lot of those players had in common, looking at them, was they just didn't look like they were motivated at all. And look, a lot of that is going to be down to the manager. I think not just before the game, but maybe the sort of rousing half-time team talk never really manifested itself, did it? But I think one of the bigger problems we've got is one that's looming. And this is from someone who didn't look like he had an attitude problem. But I tell you what, if things carry on like now, he's going to be struggling for motivation. And that is obviously Mohammed Kudus. Because there is no way that what Mohammed Kudus signed up for was what he's getting now. Basically, what was promoted in the brochure is not what's currently happening at West Ham. And, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now is now I'm going to play you a little excerpt from myself and Gio's Patreon player ratings, which we do. We got a book, basically. After every game, we get together, we sit down, there's a live chat as well, and we do our player ratings video. We mark everybody out of 10. And I just thought, rather than me sort of repeating myself on Mohammed Kudus, what I'm going to do is play you a little excerpt now of what myself and Gio discussed on that player, because it is a worry and it is a concern. Look, I'm going to share this with you now. I'd really, really very much appreciate it if you like what you see, then maybe come over and join us over on Patreon. You can join us on Patreon for less than £4 a month, by the way, and that is for our lowest tier. There's loads of reasons to do it. We've got loads of additional content over there. You've got massive discounts on our online store. We do big prize giveaways. I mean big prize giveaways. We do them very, very regularly on there. We got, not only have we got player ratings, we've got opposition previews, we've got Hamalytics, we've got podcasts. Myself and Gio do something called The Naked Podcast, but we don't actually talk about football at all. That can take a funny turn, it has to be said. But most of all, you'll be supporting Hammers Chat, which allows us to upload and produce videos every day of the week on both channels, sometimes even twice. We very much appreciate your support. The link is in the description below. It's patreon.com/Hammers Chat. I'm going to stop waffling now. Here's what myself and Gio had to say about Mohammed Kudus and his future at West Ham United if it's not sorted quite quickly.
Kudus or Benrahma, take your pick.
I'll do Kudus, actually. I'm going to give Kudus a 6. He was one of the, two players to come out of, with the starting players, excuse me, to come out of the game with any credit. I don't think he had a good game, don't get me wrong, but I think he was also a victim. Everyone's a sort of victim in their own right. Fornal's a victim for reasons we just said. Danny Ings, we'll get onto. I think he's a victim of the system. I think there's, maybe Tilo Kehrer is a victim not being played at centre-back enough or whatever. Everyone's got their own story. This is a new story for Kudus. He deserves better than playing in that team. He really does. And whilst I don't subscribe to what people are saying, which is Kudus.
You're going to see what I think.
Kudus wants to leave in January. you can't be privy to all the conversations, and you can't know. So it's a suspicion. But I tell you what, one thing, and I don't know that, and one of us can know, but what I do suspect is that if that were me, last night might have been the point where I got annoyed. And I don't mean, I think there's a big difference between instructing your, in his case, gobby agent to get you a move out of there. But I'll be speaking to Moyes, and I'll be speaking to Moyes now. And the other thing about Mohammed Kudus is that he gave an interview where he said, one of his early ones, one with the club, will you out, and all the rest of it. He said that he'd been given assurances by Tim Steidten. I absolutely remember that. And Tim Steidten had told him where his role in the team was going to be and all of this sort of stuff. Well, if I'm Mohammed Kudus now, I'm going to Tim Steidten. I'm saying, what about this stuff you told me, man? This is not happening. Why am I playing in the stiffs? That's what, for those of you, obviously, that's what they used to call the reserves, the stiffs. Why am I playing in the stiffs? That's what I would be doing now. I tried my arse off. I was getting back, helping out that defence. And I spent so much time doing that sort of stuff. I wasn't able to get in the game. There was no one able to give me the quality of service that I wanted. You brought me over here. You gave me all this stuff. I was going to go and play football with my mate Edson Alvarez, because we had this partnership which we built up over Ajax. I never played with him. I'm never in the same team, because he's in the first team and I'm in the second string. And I think if I was him, I'd be saying I had no idea that I'd be playing in that type of football and doing that type of thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is the very start. And this is where David Moyes is going to really have to go into schmooze mode or put him into there's a very quick fix here. That's he goes into team for Everton. We play well and we win, and he's part of it and he stays in the team. That'll fix it. So we're not into the whole leaving yet. But I thought he did as well as he could yesterday, and within the parameters of that team.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5. Felt a bit sorry for him. Worked hard defensively. Offensively, there was not really anything for him to work with. Put in a couple of nice balls, whether it be Benrahma or Danny Ings. But as soon as he passed it, the ball was gone. He wasn't getting it back. He made a couple of runs. The ball was never getting near him. Kerr didn't know how to play with him. Kudus didn't know how to play with Kerr. There was times Kerr got it, and Kudus wasn't sure whether to run, to come short for it. Kerr didn't know if he was going to come short for it or play over the top. They had no idea how to play with each other. I think Emerson and Fornals at least had a bit of an understanding at times. You could tell Emerson knew what Fornals was going to do and vice versa. But on the right-hand side, there was just nothing. But it was two strangers playing together. It was. But this is where Moyes would have known. I know Soufal didn't travel. I don't care. I still think Kerr would have played. But Moyes would have known on Monday what he was going to do on Thursday night. Moyes would have had two teams. And as soon as we finished the Aston Villa game, Moyes would have known what he's doing Thursday. Like, have they not been practicing and training together? What's going on? It didn't look like it. There was just nothing between those two at all. And I don't blame them individually. I'm blaming the setup, the way that we prepared for this game. And I don't subscribe to the fact that Kudus is going to want to leave in January. I mean, it'd be difficult because of African nations anyway. But
that's right.
He's going to want to leave because of lack of game time. Because I thought he's been getting adequate game time. And we've been winning, so it's hard to put him in the team. Well, we're not winning anymore, so it's now easy to put him in. But actually, the one thing that might make him leave is playing in games like last night when he looks around going, hang on a minute, is this my role? Is it playing with the second choice striker, the second choice attacking midfielder, the flipping third or fourth choice right back? Is this it? Is this what you think would be? So actually, I don't think it's the game time. He's still getting game time. It's the game time he's picking up that might become an issue pretty quickly. But I'll give him a 5. He tried. But also, context is important. He's still a new player, as is Mavropanos. They're still getting used to it. But this is where it's tricky, though. We put him in against Everton. Well, actually, he's probably played about an hour with Jared Bowen. He's probably played about an hour with Vladimir Soufal. You're getting him used to playing with Thilo Kehrer right back. Then you're going to chuck him in with a completely new right back. Hang on a minute. I've not played with him behind me, and I'm not playing with him next to me as a striker. So it's different. It's a different team altogether. So it's a bit of a strange one. But Kudus 5, Said Benrahma.
It was truly awful.